Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. Well, now here's something that's got the Celtic faithful whispering all across the terraces and Twitter alike. Jeffrey Schlupp, the very same. Lad who made a brief cameo in the green and white hoops not so long ago has been spotted training in a Celtic top. Last season's lime green gear, no less. And this wasn't just a casual jog in the park. No, Schlupp was at the Prime Precision Performance Hub down in Leicester, a proper facility known for keeping pros in top nick. That gym, run by former Reading and Leicester City man Liam Moore, isn't some run-of-the-mill operation. It caters to elite athletes looking to stay razor sharp. And here's Schlupp donning the boys' colors, working with a ball and pumping iron like he's gearing up for something big. Now, we all ken that he's a free agent now his wee stint at Celtic finished just weeks back. But what's catching eyes and stirring chat is that choice of kit. Coincidence? Maybe. But in football, especially Glasgow football, nothing goes unnoticed. The jungle drums are beating and it's got folk wondering, could there be a second chapter for Schlupp at Parkhead, or is this just a case of laundry? Look, let's rewind a wee bit and remember how Schlupp ended up at Celtic in the first place. The Ghana international who carved out a proper career down south with Crystal Palace and Leicester before that came in as a surprise short-term solution. During a crucial stretch of the season, Brendan Rodgers brought him in hoping his experience and versatility would add something a wee bit different to the squad. And while he didn't get a massive run of games, he showed flashes of quality, speed strength, and that knack for being useful across several positions. That type of player, especially in a long and grinding Scottish season, can be absolute gold dust. Yet come season's end, there was no announcement, no farewell montage, just a quiet fade out. Many assumed that was that. But now with Schlupp back training and wearing the gear, the silence feels a wee bit too loud, doesn't it? Could this be one of those footballing moments where the story's not quite finished and fate's looking to pen a sequel? It certainly feels like there's more to the tale than meets the eye. Of course, the Celtic boardroom's been fairly mum on the matter. No official word has come down from Parkhead regarding any intention to resign Schlupp. But in the background, the club's quietly preparing for a proper campaign in Europe. Champions League qualifiers are looming. A battlefield where every inch, every substitution, and every squad option counts. And if you're Brendan Rodgers, you'll be wanting depth, versatility, and experience. All three are boxes Schlupp ticks without question. He's 32 now, but still moves like a lad 5 years younger. And let's not forget, this is a man who's gone toe-to-toe with the best the Premier League's had to offer. From Anfield to the Etihad, he's played on the biggest stages. So if you're Celtic, and you can get that type of pedigree without shelling out a fortune, you've got to at least keep your ears open. Maybe there's been talks behind closed doors. Maybe this week kit sighting is a calculated move. One thing's for sure, it's got the fan base buzzing, and rightly so. Now some might scoff and say it's just a shirt. Aye, fair enough. Footballers wear all kinds of gear when they're off contract, especially if it's comfortable or reminds them of a good stint. But Celtic fans know better than most that symbols matter. This is a club steeped in tradition, in emotion, in the power of small gestures. A player wearing the shirt even away from the stadium can send a message. Maybe not to the board or the gaffer, but to the support. Those who live and breathe Celtic. And Schlupp, consciously or not, has stirred that pot. He's not posting quotes or making statements, but his actions, training in that lime green. Top or speaking plenty loud. It says, I'm still here. I'm still ready. Maybe I've got more to give. And in a summer where transfer links are flying left and right, sometimes it's the ones you've already had a wee taste of that make the most sense to bring back into the fold. And let's look at the bigger picture. Celtic's squad is solid, but not without gaps. Injuries, fixture congestion, and the sheer brutality of European football can expose weaknesses in depth fast. And while there's been some movement in the window already, you'd be daft to think the work's done. Rodgers has always preferred players he can trust. Experienced heads who don't need time to settle. Schlupp ticks that box with a Sharpie. He knows the tempo he's been in the changing room, and crucially, he's shown he's willing to graft. That short-term spell might have been just a taster, but if he comes in now for a full preseason, who's to say he couldn't play a much bigger role? His ability to slot into left back, left wing, or even the midfield gives Rodgers the type of tactical flexibility that managers dream of. For a club balancing domestic dominance with European aspirations, that's not just handy, it's essential. From the player's perspective, the logic's just as sound. Schlupp's at a point in his career where every move counts. He's no longer the bright-eyed youth at Leicester breaking into the squad. He's a seasoned pro now with a reputation to uphold and a few more prime years left in the tank. Joining Celtic again, if the offer's right, wouldn't just be sentimental, it'd be strategic. He'd get European football a shot at trophies and the kind of support most clubs in England can only dream of. And let's not overlook quality of life. Glasgow, despite the rain and wind, is a city that embraces its footballers like family. Schlupp's already had a taste, and maybe that's why he's still wearing the shirt. Not just out of comfort, but out of connection. Some players pass through a club, others leave with unfinished business. Maybe, just maybe, Schlupp's in that. Second group. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. But then there's the other side. If Celtic were keen, why not move already? Why no announcement, no whispers through the usual channels? Could it be that the club's waiting to see how other targets develop? Or maybe Schlupp's holding out for an offer from elsewhere? There's always that risk. When you're a free agent, time's both a gift and a curse. You can weigh your options, sure, but every day that passes is a gamble. Pre-seasons are underway. Squads are taking shape. Miss the boat and you might be left floating. Till September. Schlupp doesn't strike me as the type to let things drift, though. His work ethic in that gym, the sharpness of his touches, the intensity in his drills, all signs point to a lad who's ready to go. Whether that next step is back in the hoops or not, he's not coasting. He's preparing. And here's where it gets a wee bit spicy. Supporters are now divided into camps. You've got those who see the shirt and say, bring him back. We need his legs. Then there's the skeptics folks who reckon his first stint didn't show enough. But football's rarely about black and white. It's about context. Schlupp came into a squad mid-season with no preseason under his belt and limited time to integrate. That's a tough ask for anyone, no matter their CV. Give him a full run-up, let him build chemistry with the squad, and you might see a very different player. Besides, depth players don't always need to be starmen. They need to be reliable, steady, ready when called upon. And by the looks of it, Schlupp's doing everything in his power to make sure he's exactly that. That level of professionalism doesn't go unnoticed, especially not at a club like Celtic. Still, Celtic have their own timelines. Transfers are a jigsaw and one piece affects the rest. Maybe the gaffer wants to see how early fixtures go. Maybe there's another left-sided player on the radar who's higher up the wish list. But what this Schlupp sighting does is add pressure, external and internal. The fans are asking questions. The media's poking around. And Schlupp himself, even without saying a word, has inserted himself right back into the conversation. That's savvy. Maybe even deliberate. Because sometimes the best way to get noticed isn't to shout, but to show. To show you're still training, still hungry, still wearing the crest of the club you believe you belong at. Whether that resonates in the Celtic Park boardroom remains to be seen. But in the eyes of supporters, it's a statement. Loud and all clear. So what happens now? That's the million-pound question. In it, does Celtic pick up the phone and make that call? Does Schlupp get another shot at glory in green and white? Or is this just a nostalgic blip, a fleeting image that'll fade with the next rumor? Football's funny that way. One week you're out the door, the next you're starting in the Champions League. If Schlupp's playing the long game, he's playing it well. And if Celtic truly value experience, versatility, and a lad who's clearly got the club still in his heart, or at least his wardrobe, they'd be wise to keep that door open. Because sometimes the best signings aren't the flashy ones. They're the smart ones. The ones who come in, do the job, and win hearts not with hype, but with hustle. And by the looks of things, Schlupp's still got plenty of hustle left to give. And so we wait. We watch the gym videos. We scour Instagram stories. We cling to every wee hint and whisper. Because that's what football fandom's all about. hope, speculation, and the never-ending belief that maybe, just maybe, the story's not over yet. Schlupp in a Celtic shirt might be nothing, or it might be everything. Either way, the stage is set. The season's coming, and Jeffrey Schlupp, free agent or no, has put himself back in the spotlight. Where it goes from here, well, that's up to the boys in charge. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.